back to the tribe session 3 of faith. Wayne Ross here, Seekers of Truth, and just wanted to, before the holidays start up, finish out this last section here on faith, and then after the new year we'll come back and jump into our last 2 sections on resolution and freedom. So quick review here with the images from the last 6. And again, if you're just going to check this one out of context of the others, we started the session a little differently. Had a couple of us sitting around and talking about some different definitions of faith before even looking at what other groups think and say, just because it's a very unique topic to work with. It can mean so many different things. It can mean a religion. It can not mean a religion. It could mean just how you spend your day. It could be how you focus. The term is a very big term in and of itself. So we started out looking at this from various perspectives that we had. We had the Sufi thoughts on faith. We had Christianity as well as Wicca. We were taking a look at those pieces, and then moved into the second where we were looking more psychologically, what having faith can do for you, community attachments, what that can do for you. So maybe your faith or something leads you somewhere, whether it's a church or not, and then you work for the community and that makes you feel good. So it all works together to create positive impacts for you and others around you. And then we also looked at the idea of a pilgrimage as an expression of faith, and talked about how that's not common as much as it used to be in other religions, but still it's one of the 5 mandates if you're going to be a Muslim, is you have to make the pilgrimage to Mecca as an expression or demonstration of your faith. So again, all different beliefs, religions, they all have different ways of looking at it, but we were really keying in on how it's a positive force for those that undertake those things. So that's basically what we had in sessions 1 and 2. And so for this one, the 3 groups that are going to take a look at sort of have another thing in common, and it sort of falls with the time of the year here. Just getting past the winter solstice the other day gets us into that idea of these kinds of things wrapped around those beliefs and times of the year as well, and how they express those. And different groups doing this at different times, or even the same times, but never coming across each other is another way of looking at it. So first, Nordic religion. This is more of a modern perspective, as we'll see. The quotes here. Modern believers in old Nordic religion, Astero, meet in the open air just as Vikings did. Here they praise the gods and make offerings to them. They honor the gods by drinking a toast to them and eating a feast. The largest Nordic religion society in Denmark is also called Forensird. It was established in 1997, has around 600 members. It's the only officially approved Nordic religion society in Denmark. Specific gods are invoked depending upon the season and the theme of the sacrifice. The offerings are carried out around 4 times a year at the winter solstice, summer equinox, summer solstice, and autumn equinox. And included a picture there from their website of one of their more recent gatherings with the offerings and musical instruments, which is also a common theme of different groups' beliefs, adding music to that. You can see the bottle there as an offering in the image, and the other various things. And they're dressing up in what would be considered more traditional garb, if you will, for their ceremonies. So it's obviously, it's not just a random thing that pops up. It takes some preparation and takes some planning to do these. Not sure which one it is. can't tell by the weather over there. It could be summer or it could be winter, so not quite sure where that one falls. But the striking thing about this, I think, is when we see the next group and just the parallels and the ideas and the concepts of that. So, and if anybody had anything at any time, make sure to just chime in there and I can go back. So Native American traditions, Native American religions, Native American experience, place is important, and religious practices are often localized. Participation is more important than belief. Arguments about doctrinal truth are largely absent from most Native American religious traditions. Actions, words, and thoughts are understood in many traditions to have power in the world. So,
It's also important to mention, as we're talking about different faiths, that there are faiths like Christianity and Celtic paganism that are considered open belief systems or religions, whereas Native American and I believe Judaism as well are closed religions and closed practices. So things like spirit animals are often used in like BuzzFeed quizzes, when in reality it's part of a closed Native American practice that non-Native Americans shouldn't be using.
right. And by closed, you mean closed because?
Well, mostly, probably closed because of like discrimination that's happened in the past, but it's mostly like for Native Americans, I think, I'd assume each tribe has their own beliefs, like how they have all the different creation stories, and I'd assume they're probably also semi-close to each other. And I know Judaism is also considered, by some at least, to be a closed religion.
Yeah, but I meant closed because you're born into it, right?
Yeah, born into it kind of thing.
Yeah. Not easy to
not
join.
necessarily raised in it though, more just heritage.
Right. Very hard to join from the outside. So, but again, there's a lot of work, a lot of research that anybody can do. Native American pantheon of gods, reverence of nature, the seasons of the year, so on and so forth, very much like the Norse tradition. It seems that if we go far enough back into anybody's grouping, if they're living in a tribal society, their faith is hinged upon the times of the year and nature and understanding that it's this time does this. We plant here now at this time, and we understand that gives us growth for this and rebirth and those different types of things. So they've got this common well of knowledge, whether that's just like a natural philosophy, just by walking and understanding and seeing what's going on around you, because they're not meeting, they're not having conversations, but they're doing the same practices.
Yeah.
And to roll this out with faith, we're taking a look at a symbol called the Wheel of the Year, and all of these have hyperlinks so that the websites can be looked at in depth more to see what's going on there. But the Wheel of the Year is a modern conceptualization of cyclical seasonal celebrations, a lot of big words there, that follow the ebb and flow of darkness and light over the course of the year. It contains 8 holidays or Sabbaths all together, 4 solar festivals, the equinoxes and solstices again, 4 fire festivals, each Celtic in origin, making the halfway point between solstice and equinox. The calendar is heavily reliant on Celtic mythology and folk holidays, with some Germanic and Norse influences as well. And a lot of it more put together, a little bit more modern, I think, like we saw in the Nordic. As such, the wheel is not observed by all witches or pagans, especially considering not all witches are pagan and not all pagans are witches. Most practitioners choose only to observe the holidays that align with their own traditions. And again, it's the same wheel, it's the same times of the year, it's the crops coming in and the different kind of things that are celebrated in the Nordic and Native American, as well as others in Africa and others. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, the picture of the wheel seems to show, it doesn't explain, but it shows that, I believe, if I remember correctly, most of the holidays are celebrated from sunset the day before to sunset the day of.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them are wrong though, like August 1st. I don't know how you pronounce that. I think it's Lammas. It's actually usually pronounced Lunasa. It was changed to Lammas after Christianity took over Ireland and the Celtic regions. And I think it's pronounced Embolic, February 1st to 2nd. It's actually the sunset before February 1st, so January 31st, is it? 30th?
Mm-hmm.
To February 1st.
Yeah. Like I said, I think this is a much more modern interpretation. And maybe they've done these things just to make it seem a little bit easier for people to follow or something. Not quite sure. But again, it just shows the construct, how these things all come together, how people are stationing their lives, and even if it's not, maybe they're not even involved in a religion or a faith or anything themselves, they're still following these different times of birth and regrowth and all those different types of aspects that we get to see in all three that are there. So again, it just felt like it was a good way to pull this together with individual practices from different groups spread across the world that's still hitting at those same key principles and doing their thing the way that they do it or their ancestors have done it, and keeping that connection alive as well. And it really makes some of those images shrink down to fit 9 of them up there this time around. But again, it just shows, I think, just a huge amount of diversity, but still all coming together with very, very similar thoughts on the matter and reasons for being.
Makes me curious about atheists, people who don't believe in any higher power or spirituality, what they do in their life that is similar to a lot, or that you find these similarities in just how they live their life and things that they do believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be curious. I never realized there were so many connections amongst all of them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing again, the more you take the time, just a little bit of time to look at the different groups, then you really start to see the connections. And, you know, we talked briefly that some of them, you know, some groups could take faith to the extreme. We see that too. And we talked about Jonestown last time, and you know, but those bad apples, we don't let those ruin it for everybody else.
Ruin the apple pie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, just pulling together the last threads on the concept of faith. If there's something, of course, to be added, you know, please add some comments, leave some comments, kind of thing like that. Something to respond back to, or something to look at for a future piece, so that we can all continue to grow. And like I've said multiple times, none of us have knowledge of all these things. It's just, you know, doing a little research, pulling it together, and seeing what we can find out about what people are believing and what they believe now, what they believe in the past, and finding all of those commonalities that humans have. So, all right, thanks for stopping by, and everybody have a great Christmas.